भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्।
जय 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 गणनायका, जय जय विघ्न विनाशका।
जय 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 गणनायका, जय जय विघ्न विनाशका।
जय शुभ मंगलदायका, विद्या बुद्धि प्रदायका।
जय 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 गणनायका, जय जय विघ्न विनाशका।
जय शुभ मंगलदायका, विद्या बुद्धि प्रदायका।
जय शुभ मंगलदायका, विद्या बुद्धि प्रदायका।
गजवदना गौरी नंदन,
गजवदना गौरी नंदन,
गजवदना गौरी नंदन,
गजवदना गौरी नंदन।
गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदन,
गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदन,
गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदन,
गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदन।
जय 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 गणनायका, जय जय विघ्न विनाशका।
शिव शिव शंभो महेश गिरीशा,
शिव शंभो महेश गिरीशा।
शिव शिव शंभो महेश गिरीशा।
शिव शंभो महेश गिरीशा।
हर हर साई महादेवा,
हर हर साई महादेवा।
ओम हर हर साई महादेवा।
हर हर साई महादेवा।
शिव शिव शंभो महेश गिरीशा।
शिव शिव शंभो महेश गिरीशा।
नागभूषणा
नन्दिवाहना नागभूषणा
नन्दिवाहना नागभूषणा
नन्दिवाहना नागभूषणा
हाललोचना त्रिपुरसंहारी
हाललोचना त्रिपुरसंहारी
हाललोचना त्रिपुरसंहारी
हाललोचना त्रिपुरसंहारी
परमपुरुष शिव गंगाधारी
परमपुरुष शिव गंगाधारी
परमपुरुष शिव गंगाधारी
परमपुरुष शिव गंगाधारी
चंद्रकलाधर पार्वती रमणा
चंद्रकलाधर पार्वती रमणा
चंद्रकलाधर पार्वती रमणा
चंद्रकलाधर पार्वती रमणा
हर हर साई महादेवा
हर हर साई महादेवा
ओम हर हर साई महादेवा
हर हर साई महादेवा
शिव शिव शंभो महेश गिरीशा
शिव शिव शंभो महेश गिरीशा
हर हर साई महादेवा
हर हर साई महादेवा
शिव शिव शंभो महेश गिरीशा
शिव शंभो महेश गिरीशा
नन्दिवाहना नागभूषणा
नन्दिवाहना नागभूषणा
हाललोचना त्रिपुरसंहारी
हाललोचना त्रिपुरसंहारी
परमपुरुष शिव गंगाधारी
परमपुरुष शिव गंगाधारी
चंद्रकलाधर पार्वती रमणा
चंद्रकलाधर पार्वती रमणा
हर हर साई महादेवा
हर हर साई महादेवा
ओम हर हर साई महादेवा
हर हर साई महादेवा
शिव शिव शंभो महेश गिरीशा
शंभो महादेवा
शंभो महादेवा
शंभो महादेवा
शंभो महादेवा
शिव 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 शंभो महादेवा
चंद्रकलाधर गंगाधरा
चंद्रकलाधर गंगाधरा
चंद्रकलाधर गंगाधरा
चंद्रकलाधर गंगाधरा
गौरीवरा शंकरा
गौरीवरा शंकरा
हर गौरीवरा शंकरा
हर गौरीवरा शंकरा
शिव 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 शंभो
शिव 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 शंभो
हर 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 शंभो
हर 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 शंभो
हर गौरीनाथ शंभो
हर गौरीनाथ शंभो
हर सा शिव शिव शम्भो
शिव 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 शम्भो
हर 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 शम्भो
हर 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 शम्भो
हर गौरीनाथ शम्भो
हर गौरीनाथ शम्भो
हर साईनाथ शम्भो
हर साईनाथ शम्भो शम्भो महादेवा
शङ्कर शङ्कर सदा शिवा
शङ्कर शङ्कर सदा शिवा
शङ्कर शङ्कर सदा शिवा
शङ्कर शङ्कर सदा शिवा
सदा शिवा हे साम्ब 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 शिवा
शङ्कर शङ्कर सदा शिवा
शङ्कर शङ्कर सदा शिवा
अम्बा सहिता साम्ब शिवा
अम्बा सहिता साम्ब शिवा
अम्बा सहिता साम्ब शिवा
अम्बा सहिता साम्ब शिवा
साम्ब शिवा हे सदा 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 शिवा
शङ्कर शङ्कर सदा शिवा
शङ्कर शङ्कर सदा शिवा
सदा शिवा हे साम्ब शिवा
सदा शिवा हे साम्ब शिवा
शङ्कर शङ्कर सदा शिवा
शङ्कर शङ्कर सदा शिवा
अम्बा सहिता साम्ब शिवा
अम्बा सहिता साम्ब शिवा
साम्ब शिवा हे सदा 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 शिवा
शङ्कर शङ्कर सदा शिवा
हरि ओं तत्सत् नमः शिवाय हरि ओं तत्सत् नमः शिवाय साई ओं तत्सत् नमः शिवाय साई ओं तत्सत् नमः शिवाय हरि ओं तत्सत् नमः शिवाय शिव शिव शिवाय नमः शिवाय शिव शिव शिवाय नमः शिवाय साई ओं तत्सत् नमः शिवाय साई ओं तत्सत् नमः शिवाय हरि ओं तत्सत् नमः शिवाय Om Tat Sat Namah Shivaya. Shiva Shiva Shivaya Namah Shivaya. Sai Om Tat Sat Namah Shivaya. Sai Om Tat Sat Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Tat Sat Namah Shivaya. Sai Om Tat Sat Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Tat Sat Namah Shivaya. Shiva Shiva Shivaya Namah Shivaya. Sai Om Tat Sat Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Tat Sat Namah Shivaya. Sai Om Tat Sat Namah Shivaya. Shiva Shiva Shivaya Namah Shivaya. Sai Om Tat Sat Namah Shivaya. Sai Om Tat Sat Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Tat Sat Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya Shivaya Namo. 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 Shiva Shiva Hara Hara Haraya Namo. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Shivaya Namo. Shiva Shiva Hara Hara Haraya Namo. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Shivaya Namo. Shiva Shiva Hara Hara Haraya Namo. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Shivaya Namo. Shiva Shiva Hara Hara Haraya Namo. Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Shivaya Namo. Hara Hara Mahadeva. Hara Hara Mahadeva. Shivaya Shivaya Namo. Om Namah Shivaya Shivaya Namo. Om Namah Shivaya Shivaya Namo. Om Namah Shivaya Shivaya Namo. Dama 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 Rubaje. Dama 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 Rubaje. Dama 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 Rubaje. Dhimitaka dhimitaka mridang baje. Dhimitaka dhimitaka mridang baje. शिव हर हर हराय नमो हर हर शिव शिव शिवाय नमो
शिव शिव हर हर हराय नमो हर हर शिव शिव शिवाय नमो
हर हर महादेवा हर हर महादेवा
हर हर महादेवा हर हर महादेवा
हर हर महादेवा हर हर महादेवा ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो
ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो
डम 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 डमरू बाजे धिमि तक मृदंग बाजे हर हर महादेवा हर हर महादेवा हर हर महादेवा हर हर महादेवा ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः
जय हो नटरा
जय हो नटराज
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 गंगाधर शंभो हे नटरा
गंगाधर शंभो हे नटराज
गंगाधर शंभो हे नटरा
गंगाधर शंभो हे नटराज
हाललोचना पाहि मुरारी
लोचना पाहि मुरारी
हाललोचना पाहि मुरारी
लोचना पाहि मुरारी
हालाहलधर हे त्रिपुरारी
हालाहलधर हे त्रिपुरारी
हालाहलधर हे त्रिपुरारी
हालाहलधर हे त्रिपुरारी
जय हो नटरा
जय हो नटराज
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 गंगाधर शंभो हे नटरा
गंगाधर शंभो हे नटराज
हाललोचना पाहि मुरारी
लोचना पाहि मुरारी
हालाहलधर हे त्रिपुरारी
हालाहलधर हे त्रिपुरारी
जय हो नटरा
जय हो नटराज
जय हो नटरा
जय हो नटराज
जय हो नटरा लिंगोद्भवकरा लिंगेश्वरा
भवकरा लिंगेश्वरा
लिंगोद्भवकरा लिंगेश्वरा
भवकरा
शिवाय ॐ शिवाय ॐ शिवाय ॐ शिवाय शम्भो शङ्कर ॐ शिवाय शम्भो शङ्कर ॐ शिवाय शम्भो शङ्कर ॐ शिवाय ॐ शिवाय शम्भो शङ्कर 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 ॐ शिवाय ॐ शिवाय शम्भो शङ्कर ॐ शिवाय शम्भो शङ्कर ॐ शिवाय शम्भो शङ्कर ॐ शिवाय शङ्कर ॐ शिवाय
Om Shri Sai Ram. My humble pranams at Bhagwan's lotus feet. Revered elders, Sai brothers and sisters, and my dear students. It is a wonderful experience to be back home. This few minutes which I spent before coming on to the stage here took me back in memories of almost 60 years. Memories of being here when it used to be a 20-minute drive from Bangalore. And that time when we used to sit for Bhagwan's darshan along a small road which led from this gate to the other gate, lined by avenue trees. And then came the Sai Ram shed, and now we are here in this wonderful Sai Ramesh hall. I'd like to thank the organizers for making this opportunity for me to be here, and all the glowing tribute which was paid during the introduction has already been offered to Bhagwan. As I was going back the memory lane, the last half an hour I spent here, I did prepare a talk in my mind and decided what I should say here, and all that has gone now. It's not easy to recapitulate 60 years of the past, and if it is done sequentially, it becomes very boring. I was told by my Sai brother who introduced me that I could speak for any length of time, so be prepared for breakfast here also. It reminds me of a joke which I happened to be around, when an invited guest asked the organizer, "How long can I speak?" I don't know whether you've heard of this before, but the organizer turned around and just told him, "You can speak for as long as you want, but we are leaving at 20 minutes. So if any of you feel I'm going beyond the time limit, which I don't think I will, you may raise your hands or just leave, and I will stop." We have, each one of us here, I'm sure, has shared a lot of love from Swami. And each one of us has experienced it, that if somebody could give unconditional love, it was only him. There were no tags attached to what he gave us. You may brand him to be a 24/7 Santa Claus, always ready, with lots of love and gifts. And as children, when we went to Puttaparthi, we have experienced his proximity, starting from the camping of all of us as a family, at times 15 to 20 in number, on the sand beds in front of Prashanti Nilayam. For those of you who haven't seen it or seen pictures of Prashanti Nilayam in those days, Prashanti Nilayam as it stands today in its glorious form was a very simple, ordinary bungalow, in front of which was a huge area of sand beds covered with fruit trees, where people would come and camp there. We have spent weeks together like that. The only time we were allowed to bunk school was when we went to Puttaparthi. And Swami's darshan happened not once, at least a half a dozen times in a day. Starting from those days, looking at today, a lot of people ask whether you miss him. The answer is a simple yes. We do. There is no doubt about it. But in his physical absence, he has shown us his eternal presence. And you've all heard several reports and read and heard personal accounts of such reports. I happened to be traveling in the United States on some professional work and was stranded in an airport in Newark, New Jersey, because of the storms that the United States is always prone to. The flight from Florida, Miami, Florida, got delayed, and then it led to a chain of events. I had to change 2 flights before I reached my brother's place. So I had to spend a night in the airport of New Jersey, Newark, New Jersey. And everybody had warned me that it's not a very safe place to leave your luggage and walk around. So from 10 in the night till the next morning, 8 o'clock, I had to spend my time there. So I had to carry my luggage with me wherever I went, my hand carry baggage. And in the night, middle of the night, I needed to use the washroom. So I had to carry a lot of stuff. I had a computer bag. It's out of fashion to travel without a computer bag these days, so I had one. It was very heavy. And I had a carry-on bag. I had a pillow. So carrying all these things, I was going down the escalator to the washroom, and I'm sure you realize that escalators are very steep. Since you don't have to put in any effort to walk, they make it very, very steep. The rate of descent is very rapid. And due to some freak accident, my foot slipped. And I had my carry-on bag, I had a computer bag, I had my neck pillow. All my hands were busy. I was not holding the railing also. So even before I could let go of any of these things, I could feel myself fall. And fortunately, it didn't happen because an unknown hand stopped the fall. I recovered from the shock miraculously and traveled back in a state of shock. There have been several instances of this nature in the lives of many Sai devotees. So I think it's nice to start this note in this Samarpan. That we should never ever think of his physical absence. This was the latest incidents in my life in the year 2011. Going back a little, talking in a platform like this is never my cup of tea. I always keep saying I'm more comfortable with a knife in my hand, either in the operating room or in the kitchen. I'm quite comfortable in the kitchen also. So it was a joke at home that when I didn't have a patient to operate upon, I would cut vegetables and fruits in an artistic way. However, this initiation of talking in this kind of forum and platform was also done by Bhagavan. Much to my discomfiture, as you can see it now. It's never easy to talk about Bhagavan. And I made that mistake of telling that to him once. There was a conference in Mumbai. It was called Humanizing Medical Care. And I got pushed into it literally. Dr. Safaya, the then director of the Satyasai Super Speciality Hospital at Puttaparthi, was invited for that conference at Mumbai, organized at Vasi. And for some reason of ill health of him, he couldn't go. And I happened to meet him at Puttaparthi in the veranda, and he said, look, I had accepted it and I can't go. I think you should go. I said, what am I supposed to talk? He said, talk whatever you want to. Then I said, okay, I will try. Then he said, you can talk about your experiences and what medical care means with regard to Sai philosophy, or the Sai healthcare as it is called. I accepted it, and then there comes Swami. And then Dr. Safaya went and told him something, I don't know what, but during the same darshan, I had an opportunity to ask Swami. This is what I have been told. I've been told, not asked. So, should I do it? And Swami, in his exquisite nature of showing affection and love, said, Bangaru Shana Santosham. It didn't say yes or no. It's for you to interpret it, and that's what happens in several instances when you talk to him, ask him anything. He will say Shala Santosham. It's for you to interpret what you want to make of it. So I took it as his blessing and decided to go to Mumbai. And attended this conference, and I spoke like a professional lecture. I had a PowerPoint presentation on what I wanted to speak, because doctors are known not to be able to be very efficient in speaking without seeing something on the screen. That's what we're trained to do. So I had a PowerPoint presentation which I showed and spoke, and then I came back to Puttaparthi and went to Swami again and said, I told him, Swami, I just went to Bombay for this conference on humanizing medical care and came back. I had a brochure with me which I handed over to him. And I told him I spoke in this conference. And then he says, what did you speak? I said, Swami, I spoke about you. Nik tallo buddhi ledu. That was the response. So, to speak about Swami, I think is asking for too much. I don't think any human being can fathom the depth of Swami himself. Of course, it finished there, and I was a little disappointed. I was hoping for getting some praises, but I was a little disappointed. But you have to live with disappointment with Swami. Somewhere down the line, you will find a reward, and patience always pays. We've had a number of very remarkable experiences in the family, as a family, but I'll stick to what I have personally gone through in this forum today. There was I can't remember the year, but a time when we were all going to Puttaparthi for the birthday celebrations. Even then, I was known to do these day trips to Puttaparthi and back. I used to go at 4 in the morning, see my daughter there in school, and then go for darshan morning, evening, and come back by 9 in the evening. That one particular year, thanks to my wife, I think we decided we should go early for birthday celebrations. So we wanted to be there for the Ladies' Day. So we left on the 18th evening, and I had a car, Maruti esteem car, which I used to drive myself, and near Yelahanka there used to be a level crossing, railway level crossing. So the level crossing, the train was moving, so we had to stop. We stopped, and then the gates opened after the train left, and there was a truck in front of me, a small truck. And he started moving, so I also started moving. But something distracted me on the right side, so I looked to the right. And the next thing I know is I had gone full blast into the truck in front of me. I had hit the truck from behind, and the whole car was full because we had to, the whole family was there at Puttaparthi. We were living in a small house inside the ashram, and we had luggage, we had bedding, we had pillows, blankets, everything. The whole back seat was full. I and my wife, just two of us were there. So the car was practically a write-off because I went and hit it, not very fast, but at maybe 30-40 kilometers. And that guy also had stopped for some reason. So the car was not drivable anymore. Got some friends of mine came in, and they brought another car for me, transferred all the all the luggage into that car, and we continued to go. We were destined to go, of course. This was around maybe lunchtime that it happened. So we reached Puttaparthi in time for the afternoon darshan. And we went in and sat for darshan. Before that, I had, my wife was sitting in front. She had injured her finger. She banged her finger onto the dashboard, and then I took her to the hospital, had an X-ray done, nothing was wrong. At darshan, first thing Swami comes, and he says, he shows this finger. and says, accident ayindi. Ni bharyaki emi kaledu. You had an accident. And he showed this finger and says, nothing happened to your wife. We all keep doing things thinking that he doesn't know. He knows everything. Then he went to my wife and saw her hand also. Why would anybody want to do that? How does it matter? And believe me, this is the 18th evening during a birthday celebration. Can you imagine the number of people that were there? This is the kind of love that he shows to every single devotee. It's just that we have to open our hearts to it, to receive it, and see what we can do to go ahead with what we are supposed to do to further his mission. 2003, month of March, I think Swami came to Vrindavan early. I think there are some staff here who are aware of this. If I'm wrong in my dates, please pardon me. But it's worth recounting. And I used to be the head of the Department of Orthopedics there in the hospital. But I had already started working at the Whitefield General Hospital. And I was always missing from the hospital at Bangalore on Saturdays. And it was an accepted fact. If somebody saw me there on Saturday, even today, they say, "What's wrong with you? Are you not well?" So I used to drive in the morning, come here for darshan almost every day. And Swami was here sometime late March, I'm not sure of the dates, late March probably. And then I did that for about a week or eight days. And then as usual, we all get impatient. Then I started wondering, when is Swami going to Kodaikanal? I want to go and work. But that year he didn't go anywhere, he stayed on here. That's what he usually did. He came here, spent a few days, then went off to Kodaikanal. He didn't go. Then for various reasons, I couldn't come for the next week or 8 days. And can you believe it? He missed me. When I came on the 9th or 10th day, he comes straight to me. That was our block, the third one there, sitting behind the students. And he comes all around and comes there and says, "Emi sir, shana busy na? 8 రోజులు రాలేదు." I really didn't know how to respond to that. I just stood on my knees and said, "Avunu Swami." He just said, "Malli chustanu," and went off. And he went to my wife, told the same thing. And when I went back home, I had a mouthful from my wife. in the same duration, same period, he was having some problems with his leg, which was intermittent. And he was asked to see several doctors, even in Puttaparthi. And he refused. And then finally, when he came here, Padmanabhan Garu somehow convinced him that he should see a doctor. And he agreed. For the first time, whatever problem he was having, only he knows. And he agreed to see a doctor. And I happened to be there at that time. After darshan, I don't know why I waited, but I waited. It was a working day. I knew I'll be late to work. I waited, and then Padmanabhan comes in running and says, no. Swami has agreed to see somebody, you wait. I'll go and tell him. So, there's no choice left here. So I waited without realizing what it would lead to. Then, of course, I was told that I should come tomorrow morning. So I cancelled a few scheduled surgery cases and had to come the next morning. And he had a consultation with me. Or I should say, I had a consultation with him. He was not willing for any investigations, any tests, nothing. He says, Urke chudu, emana chayi. That's all I was given the option. So then chusti, em chesed telidu. We don't know what to do. Then I said, I'm an orthopedic surgeon. Basically, when somebody complains of pain, usually these days people come with x-rays. You don't need to ask for them. So I said, Swami, at least we'll get one x-ray done. Then he insisted it has to be done here in Vrindavan. I said, all right, I'll arrange it. We shifted the x-ray machine and got it done. There was nothing wrong. And then he said, do something. I said, then you need physiotherapy. You come to the hospital, we'll do physiotherapy. He says, no. You do whatever you want to do here, and only you do, nobody else. I said, I don't know how to do physiotherapy. He said, you go and learn. So I went to physiotherapy on how to handle those machines. Basically, it was that. Then we shifted a couple of machines. And I used to do something for him. God knows whether it helped, didn't help, I don't know. The interesting part here, I used to come at 5 in the morning and wait inside. And he would have me called in as soon as he was ready. He was a perfect host. I came at 5 in the morning by my choice, not because he asked me to come. Because I didn't want to be late, because you never know. So he would, whatever I did to him, after that he would sit in the living room in Vrindavan, next to the atrium that is there. There's a living room where Swami sat, and I think Dakapa sir knows that room. He's been there several times, meeting all the officials of the state organization and others. He would sit with me and have breakfast. I would have breakfast and he would sit and watch. Can you imagine the embarrassment there? I started telling him, this went on for almost 8-10 days, and then I would tell him, Swami, you please go, I will eat. He said, no, you eat. Number of times, he would simply sit and watch. He wouldn't say a word. And I had to sit and eat. Invariably, the people who served Swami here, Dilip and one more person, Satyajit used to be here, Dilip used to be here. They would be ordered to put more into my plate. Of course, I had no choice, so I had to eat until I finished everything. One such occasion, I had just finished applying something on his knee, and then the breakfast was kept on the table, and he said, Tino. I started putting my hand. He literally shouted, he said, what are you doing? Em chestunnavu? Emaindi Swami? Kai kadukkopoyi I had the audacity to tell him, Swami, it is your body. Why should I wash my hands? He said, no, bad hygiene. You see, these are the things which make you think how much of concern he has. Of course, the knee didn't become all right. He became all right. The knee never became all right. The leg he was all right. Whenever he chose to be fine, he walked well.
ॐ जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक पति महेश्वरा ॐ जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते आश्रित कल्पलतिका आश्रित कल्पलतिका आपदान्धवा ॐ जय जगदीश हरे मातपिता गुरुदैवमु मरियन्तयु नीवे स्वामी मरि अन्तयु नीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नागेन्द्रशयना ॐ जय जगदीश हरे ओंकार रूप ओजस्वी हो साई महादेव सत्य साई महादेवा मंगल आरती अंधुको मंगल आरती अंधुको मंगल गिरिधारी ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा शांति 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 समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु शांति 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 जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय।